Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Women Winning Wednesday Night Call. My name is Chanel Burt. I'm a Senior Vice President, Circle of Champions member with this ACN opportunity. And I want to welcome each and every one of you to tonight's call as we host this every single Wednesday so that we can highlight a phenomenal woman in the ACN opportunity, and we typically feature regional directors or above. And last month, guys, how many of you are excited that we were featuring executive team leaders for Women's History Month, right? Man, we had some awesome women on the call. I would love to feature them again. And if you have anybody that you would like to recommend for this call, because I do not know everyone, please make sure you send me a message. You can send it to me through Facebook or Instagram. And if you have my number, you can send it to me that way as well. But this call is typically designed to hear from some of the leaders in our opportunity. And this call is led by women, but it is literally for everyone, okay? And the purpose of this call is really to encourage, empower, and equip more women to rise through the ranks of the ACN opportunity. We want to see them get promoted to regional vice president, gold, platinum, senior vice president. And it's not to take anything away from the guys, but we just want to see more women on the big stage, on a company-wide call. And here we host this call every single week so that you can hear the story as well as the training that they want to bring to the table. Every single week, when I get to call someone, it is an honor for me to have them on here because, everybody has a story. And I am always taking notes because I know everything that they're going to say is going to help advance everyone's business. So with that being said, guys, I am so fired up for tonight's call because we have had, and I typically don't have people speak on a call more than once. However, this woman just got promoted to regional vice president, and I am so excited for her to be on this call today. I have, really gotten to know her on a personal level, as well as, as a business partner. And I am so excited for her to share her story with you guys and some training tonight so that you can too advance your business and get promoted to the next levels, whatever that may be for you during the times that we're in today. We're still going through a pandemic and we're all virtual pretty much. And so her, along with her husband, they have earned this position. I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her tonight. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to turn the call over and introduce to you newly promoted Regional Vice President, Mrs. Popi Massey. Thank you so much for being on the call with each and every one of us tonight. Where are you?
I'm here.
There you go.
Here we go. Oh, I didn't realize I had to start talking. So for all prosperity, y'all, can I take a quick selfie? Is that okay? Because Melissa Street just did an amazing training on social media. So I want to act at the speed of instruction. 1 second. Everybody smile. And she said take one on gallery view too. So hold up. Okay. Some of y'all are
I'm gonna put it on gallery view here.
Look at Miss Twyla. Twyla's like, yeah, girl. Okay, so hold on. Ready? One. Say ACN.
And listen, before you even start talking, I'm going to unmute the call so everyone can give you a huge congratulations on your RVP promotion.
Congratulations.
Way to go. Great job.
Congratulations, Poppy.
Well deserved. Well, I know you heard Melissa Street, right? Everybody heard her voice. So I have gone ahead and muted the call so you can really go ahead and take over. I am so excited for you to be on here tonight so that everybody can hear from you. And yes, please go ahead, take it away. And man, we are so excited tonight.
I'm excited. Thank you so much, Ms. Chanel Burt. I am extremely humble that you would ask me to come on again. I remember the first time you asked me to come on, I was sitting in my car in the pickup line at my kid's school, and I was like, Chanel Burt's calling me. Oh my God. So I had a fangirl moment. And y'all, let me tell you, she was just as humble could be. And I knew from that moment that I wanted to have a relationship with her. I didn't want to stalk her too much. But I just knew that I wanted to be her friend and build a relationship with her. So when she says that we have a personal relationship, that's very true. I've called her on occasion to just share with her some of the things that are going on in my life. And I hope that, God will give me the words, because I love how she doesn't ask us ahead of time to prepare a speech. Okay, because sometimes you got to speak from the heart. And like I said, I hope that God will give me the words. So, excuse me, Ms. Bird said that she hopes to have people on here with the goal of encouraging, empowering, and equipping. So that's my goal. I hope to encourage, empower, and equip all of you. And somebody had on their I don't know what to call it, their frozen face, their non-video face. The goal is to make an income while making an impact. Let me read that again. The goal is to make an income while making an impact. And I remember when I first started this business 3 years ago, I had that backwards. Okay, I always thought that we think we are in a place of, well, let me back up. I think sometimes we don't know where we're at in life. Sometimes we think things are going great. And sometimes God will throw you a curveball in life. And when we join this company, we do hopefully we all want to make an income. Okay, how many of us? That's why we started. We weren't starting for charity, but we don't fully understand how to make that impact. We don't fully understand what it's going to take to get to have that harmony. Okay, I don't want to say balance. The reason I don't like balance is because when it's balanced, just like you're stagnant. Okay, you're stagnant with balance. But with harmony, anybody ever see the yin and the yang symbol? It's more fluid. Okay, so why do I say that? Because we're all going to be going through something at any given time. Okay, either we're going into a problem, in the middle of a problem, or coming out of a problem, but it's a cycle. And the only way for us to be able to make an impact and make an income at the same time is through personal growth and development. How many of us would agree on that statement? I was on a Clubhouse call with my husband. It's called the LEDA, L-E-D-A call. And every day in the month of April he's gonna, I'm sorry, talking from the heart. I'm thinking I'm talking to our students and anyway. But the call that we were on today, it was just an amazing call, because we were talking about, does it take money to make money? I'll say it again, does it take money to make money? And some people are like, yeah, it takes money to make money. But I will say this, in my opinion, and a lot of opinions, people who are on there were strong opinions, have strong opinions. It doesn't always take money to make money. What it takes is an idea. What it takes is building good relationships so that you can leverage those relationships to make money. It takes being able to add value to the people that you are in front of. And it was so fire, okay? I had to go and ask my husband. First of all, I went to go encourage him, because I've been learning how to do that recently. But then I also went to ask him questions, because part of that conversation on the Clubhouse was, how many of us have failed? Okay, how many of us have failed? And for the first time on a Clubhouse, I didn't want to speak during that whole call. I was just listening. I was listening to learning. My teachability index for the last few months, maybe last 6 months, has been horrible. If you don't know what teachability index is, go look up Your Wish is Your Command by Kevin Trudeau. Mr. Jeff Street turned me onto that, because Alejandro Coleman, turned him onto it and all that good stuff. But what that is when your teachability index is low, meaning you're not open to new ideas, you're not open, you're not humble. You can't learn, you can't grow. When your teachability is high, the highway is open. You know, and for several months, and really over a course of a month, I just, you know, it fluctuates. You know, sometimes you're really, really teachable. Like when I first started this business, I followed Miss Susie Potter around like a little baby duck, just following her around, doing whatever she asked me to do, and, you know, just learning. Oh, I opened my mind. I used to be very skeptical, okay, to a point where I poo-pooed this business for about 8 months, because I was like, oh, it's a thing, and I'm gonna have to do things, and da 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 da. But what the result of me having a high teachability index with Susie was that I promoted to regional director in about 3.5 months, promoted my husband's position. Then, because my husband is my silent partner, bless his heart, I love him. But then, you know, my position was able to promote 2 months after that. Okay, so as you know, when you have some success, sometimes you can think you know a thing. And I knew that. Like I knew when I hit, I lamented hitting those positions so fast. I lamented it. I didn't want it almost. I wanted it because, like I said, I wanted the income, and I wanted to make sure that happened for my family, because at the time we were kind of struggling financially, but I wanted it to happen. And as soon as I hit it, I was like, doggone it, I am in for a period of growth. Because nobody hits regional director or any position within this company of the higher rank without having to grow. Okay, you cannot out earn your own personal development. So at that time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my best to stay teachable, to stay. But over time, life got in the way. Things started happening. You know, we were having meetings and all this stuff, and then COVID was, you know, after January, I was so excited when we were at convention to hear that regional vice president was point-based and, you know, not people-based. Because believe it or not, at that time, I believed, and to this day, I'm still learning. I really want to grow in this, that I am not a good coach of people. Why? Because I do not have great listening skills, active listening skills. I thought I did. But I was thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get to regional vice president? So, you know, COVID hit, you know, took action, started having Zoom, started getting into things right away. But I started noticing a few things. Actually, you know, a few things started hitting me over the head. Number one, I realized I wasn't having that harmony, that holistic harmony that I wanted in my family life. And I had a daughter, we have 4 kids, okay? 24, she's out of the house, and then 3 at home, 13, 11, and 10. And what I started noticing is that I would be doing meetings, PVZs, and I was so focused on the goal. And the kids supported me, okay? So they were all in it. They supported the goal. I had buy-in. But what I started noticing is I started getting more agitated. I wasn't taking care of myself. At first I was, but then I started letting it go. You know, the COVID-19 was creeping up. How many of us fell victim to that? But the kids, you know, and here's the thing, as a family, this is how I got their buy-in. One time my car is a 2007 GMC Yukon, it's busted. It broke down, and so we had to rent a car. My husband, bless his heart, rented me a red Tesla Model X. Okay, I have this Tesla on my computer screen because, or it was black, but I want the red one. So I put this red Tesla on my screen, and so the kids knew. I said, okay, mommy's gonna have to work really, really hard for a period of time so that we can get to the position of RVP. They're like, well, what is that gonna take? I'm like, it's gonna take so many points. So every day as we were driving to school, they would, and driving back, they'd ask, you know, how are we doing? Okay, I had 3 little tiny bosses, little dictators, holding me accountable to my goal, to our family goal. So I was so focused on it, so focused on the pin. Over time, like I was telling you, I got agitated. One of my daughters felt so neglected, she almost ran away. And my oldest daughter just, we were just contentious. How many of us have that daughter, right? So I started noticing that. And then, so I started working on that. I started scaling back a little bit, you know, telling myself. And so the kids, we got back on track, okay? But what I also started to notice is that I was becoming more and more distant from my husband. Now, I love and adore my husband, but my husband was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 43. We had at that point been married just over 10 and a half years. So you can imagine how strained that relationship was until he got diagnosed. So how many of us understand when we get new information, we got a new mindset, a new kind of new perspective, okay? So after the diagnosis, we had hope. Okay, and when I tell you we had it rough, it was rough. You know, people see us from the outside and they're like, oh, you guys are a power couple. You guys are, you know, so strong. You're, you know, making impact. Y'all know behind closed doors, sometimes things are a different story. Okay, we had our ups and downs. And so, you know, fast forward a few years later, my husband has been telling me, or trying to tell me this whole time, that I don't listen to him. I thought I did, because I thought listening meant just being quiet. When I was a kid, you know, I got lectures, so I learned to check out. But I didn't learn how to listen, and my husband would get so frustrated that I wasn't listening, and I would get so frustrated that I didn't understand him. So again, he was diagnosed with the ADHD, but also that came along with autism and Asperger's. And I thought my teachability index at the time to learn who he was and learn about that was high, but it really wasn't, because I didn't know what I didn't know. That's another Kevin Trudeau thing. Okay, I was unconsciously incompetent, very incompetent, to the point where, you know, we were no longer friends. We were fighting. It was just contentious. And I'm like, why am I doing this business if I can't share the victories with the one I love the most, with my best friend? And at the time, we were not best friends, but I wanted that. And so there is nothing more inspirational than a little competition. And so, you know, there have been some things happening, and my husband gets a chance to speak in front of, you know, many people and whatnot, you know, and there's people that love to hear him speak and love to be groupies around my husband. And I don't like that. I didn't like that very much. But after talking to him and really coming to grips with things, I just was like, okay, things have got to change. And I'm like, what's the one thing that I can do? I said, why did you marry me? What was one thing that, what was one of the reasons you married me? He said, because you ask deep questions. You ask really good questions. And I realized I had gotten away from that. I realized I had become more interested in being interesting than being interested. I was more concerned with people understanding me than being understood. And it affected my marriage to the point where I thought I was going to lose him, you know. And so I you know, started watching videos on autism, Asperger's, ADHD, just to help to understand. Okay, not for him and myself, but mostly for him, to understand him. And all of the things that he had been sharing with me over the 18 years we've been married and together started coming back. Things that he would say to me that would frustrate him, things that, you know, you don't listen, you don't understand, you interrupt me, stuff, just all of it. When I started watching these videos about how it causes someone to shut down. And why am I sharing this with you on this call? Because sometimes we can be in a place where we are so concerned with the wrong things. And, you know, it took days and weeks of just spending time in God's word, spending time in prayer, spending time in meditation, I got into Peloton, to just work on me. I took a step back from the business to work on my own personal development. And that was the only reason that I got to a point where I was teachable enough to hear what my husband had to tell me and really hear it. There's a movie, I think it was White Man Can't Jump. It's like, you're hearing Jimmy, but you're not listening. Or it was probably the other way around. You listen, but you're not hearing. And I finally got it. After 18 years, I finally got it. So what did I do with that new information after listening, listening to audiobooks on how to be active listener? I'm still listening, getting ready to listen to a book on, understanding versus being understood. But after that leader conversation, after that room where we were talking about things like failure, overcoming failure, it's important to fail. I felt that. In the deepest depths of my heart, I felt that because I had failed in almost every area that was important to me. Relationships. So now I really want to invite you to think about, how good of a listener am I? How well do I understand what people are saying to me? Because it becomes important in our business, because when we have folks on those PVZs, when we're getting to know them, when we're building relationships with our teams, we have to listen. Now, notice I didn't say we have to accept excuses, okay? I didn't say that. But we have to listen and have to get good at asking questions. And the question that I asked my husband, I told you I knew I was going to come around full circle, was, how do you know what questions to ask? And he told me that it's important to be thinking of them, but that everyone wants to tell a story. And the questions that you ask are helping them to tell that story. Everybody wants to say something. They have something to say. When you're talking to someone, are you more interested in finding out what more they have to say, or what you have to say? Now, I know there's a time and place to speak, so don't get me wrong. But we have to do that for our people. Otherwise, people run away, walk away, and you don't even know why. But they've been trying to tell you this whole time, but you have not been listening. So guys, I can't tell you that, my husband and I are out of the water yet, but after that conversation that we had where I was asking the questions and actually listening this time, I can tell you that there is hope. There is a rainbow after the rain. And I believe that my God can do all things, or I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And my God is my everything. He is my first and foremost, my priority, and he will continue to be my priority. But my husband will come second. My family will come after that, friends, and then my business. Because I want to make sure at the end of the day that, God willing, when I stand up on that stage as SVP, that is because I've listened. It's because I have helped you. It's because I have overcome my shortcomings and shortfalls. And, again, I am a work in progress. We are all works in progress. We'll be a work in progress till Jesus and Black baby Jesus comes back. But I want the opportunity to bring glory to God. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is to listen. So guys, I thank you so much for letting me share my story, Ms. Bird. you gave me an opportunity to tell my story again. I hope that you guys were listening. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Wow, wow, wow.
Why do you want me to unmute?
There are hearts going up. There are so many reactions that feelings that people are feeling right now because of your call tonight. Wow, wow, wow. Who knew you coming on here as a new RVP would really help save someone's marriage tonight? For them to put their family first. Because that's what we're taught. And I've been thinking about that like for the last couple of days, like, so it's just been on me so much for what Greg Provenzano teaches us as far as our priorities needing to be God, family, and then everything else, including ACN. That everything else includes this. And so many times we're so focused. We're just so focused on other stuff. But he always says, if those first two things aren't right, if your spiritual life isn't right, if your family life isn't right, then your business life, it won't be right. It won't be as rewarding. It won't be rewarding. And to hear you, knowing our personal conversations, but to have you on this call tonight and really pour your heart out, your transparency has not just changed someone's business today. Your transparency on this call has really changed someone's life. Maybe their marriage. Who knows? Who knows? So when we started off talking about empowering, equipping, encouraging, I think you get a check mark for each and every one of them. Each and every one of them.
Thank you.
Because you didn't have to tell that. Like, you didn't have to go into that. But it's a part of your story. And what we were talking about this earlier, like, this is the part that people really don't hear, people really don't see. Like, just to listen, just you teaching people how to listen tonight. Even though you said, we have to do that with our people on our teams. But you talking about your family and how your kids were feeling, even though they were enrolled in the goal, right? Like, my kids have been enrolled too, right? Like we never really talk about, yeah, they're enrolled, but they hate it. You know what I mean? Like, you think my son liked that I was away for his birthday every year? No. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is so real that you will go through things as you are building this, if you want to go to the top. And, Poppy and I were talking earlier, and it's like, man, when you are about to get promoted, level up per se, then as a believer, we know when the devil is coming. We know when he's just right there, like just doing everything to try to slow you down and stop you. And it's real. It is so real. And for all of you that are, aspiring to achieve success, whatever that success may be for you, please understand that things will come in your path, your journey. Yes, throughout your journey, you will face some stuff. You will be tested. And sometimes you will think you're being tested if you want this bad enough as far as your business, but sometimes we're tested. Do you want your marriage enough? Do you want that bad enough? Do you want your spiritual relationship enough? Like, I remember when I started getting closer to God, and some of my friends and family, they weren't really understanding when I was talking a lot about that and my commitment to being in Bible study and, reading and just doing just so many things. Like, there are going to be challenges and hurdles and so many different things in different areas of your life that you will have to push through and overcome as you are moving toward the top of this business. Now, some people have paid a price and dealt with things before ACN, like we say, you pay a price somewhere, wherever you are, right? And so maybe you've gone through all of that before getting involved with ACN. So your journey to, RVP, SVP, you may not be faced with those types of things, but eventually, we all go. It's so crazy when we say we all go through the same stuff. We all go through the same stuff. And that is so true. Most people just don't talk about it. Most people just don't share that stuff. Cody Mackey always says, you see the glory, but you don't know the story. And that is so, so true. And you can unmute. This is like the girl talk part of the call.
I'm trying to listen, Ms. Burke. If I got my mute, if I don't have this mute button on, I'm gonna be tempted to jump in and interrupt and cut you off instead of getting gems like what you just said. And you made me forget what you said. What did you say?
You see the glory, but you don't know the story. And Cody Mackey taught me that. Like he always says that, right? Because listen, when people say, man, I remember people used to tell me all the time, especially because we would be face to face at a convention and they would see me and want to take pictures and stuff. And they're like, man, I want to be like you. I want to do that. I'm like, no, you don't.
Do you know?
You have no idea. You have no idea the amount of work it has taken to become Chanel Burt. I'm Aaron Burt's wife, right? Like, there was a time where, like, he always says now, like, he's just Chanel Burt's husband, right? However, we've dealt with that too. With it, I don't want to say the light shifting from him to me, but it kind of happened that way. And that's a big change, especially for a man. Like, you men, there are plenty of men on this call. You guys know what I'm talking about. There are different things that we have dealt with, just, it's a lot. It's been a lot. But it's so real. And you take a step back and you look at things and you say, you know what, I gotta shift my focus back to building my relationship with God. I gotta shift my focus back to putting my family first. And if I just do that, then the people will come in my business. Look at you. You're RVP now.
God bless it. I mean, you're right. How bad do I want it? In any given circumstance. On that call, the leader call we were talking about, he was also talking about athletes. And, being an athlete, you learn how to miss the ball, miss the pass. You fall on your face a lot. You lose a lot of games. But it builds in you a resilience. And, you know, part of that journey is like experiencing a different level of pain or struggle and suffering, and that you haven't experienced before. And what you gonna do? You know, you're gonna crumble up and die, or you gonna get on your knees and fight. You know, Jesus was a man very much acquainted with suffering. You know, betrayed by his own people. It be your own people sometimes. You know,
Listen, that's a whole nother call.
Oh, okay, that's a sermon. So maybe I gotta come to your Zoom church. But
listen, right.
That's
right. That it be sometimes it be your own people. It's crazy, but
can you drink the cup? I want to sit at your right hand, Jesus. But can you drink the cup? And I don't know. It's day to day. What does it say? Rent due. Success is never owned, it's only rented, and it's due every day. And my problem was, and Jeff Street can attest to this, my problem was I was a start-stop. And I think some of that had to do with being an athlete, because athletes go in seasons, and you go hard for a season at a time, and then it's like, So I got used, it was so ingrained in me that that's how I kind of operate. And that's okay for a minute, but what I realized is I need consistency. I was talking to Jeff, he's like, girl, you just run hot and cold. He didn't say girl, I'm saying girl. Melissa might say girl, run Jeff. But he said, you know, you run hot and cold. You know, if you can get this consistency thing down, you know, that's where it's at. So, and I'm translating, but but yeah, so I've been working on that. And my husband said the same thing. The same thing, you know, what did he say? How long is this gonna last?
Mm-hmm.
You know, change is happening now, but how long is this gonna last? Okay. So, you know, sometimes when you get stung, it's to help you realize that you need to move. You do something different. Let that pain propel you. And you know, it's not pleasant. The discipline is not pleasant at the time, but later on it produces a harvest of righteousness. Girl, I need church.
Listen, well, you know, we talked about this a long time ago. You said it today when I talked to you, how I told you this is going to be hard.
You did. That was, and that has stuck in my mind for just the whole time. And every time I was like, in my internal voice, girl, it's so hard. Chanel said it's gonna be hard. Get up. Get up. You know, Melissa Street, I don't know, did I tell you the story? Melissa Street, the first time I went to convention, and you know, Melissa was next to me, she was so excited, she's like, you're gonna be the next Chanel Burt. I said, no, I'm not. I'm gonna be the first Popi Massey.
That's right.
And I didn't mean it in an arrogant way.
I love that. Because when people say, look, seriously, when people say, I say, you're going to be better than me. Like I tell everybody that. If they say, I'm going to be the next, nope, you're going to be better than me. Like Melissa Street, right? Like, I love Melissa Street. Everybody loves Melissa Street, you know? And as people get to know you, people are going to love Popi Massey, right? Like, that's what you aspire to be. Like you said, I'm going to be the first Popi Massey. You know, that's what this is all about. You don't have to be anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And I say that because comparison is the thief of joy. And remember how I was telling you about the groupies? I started comparing myself. And I was losing my joy. And, you know, even in ACN, you know, sometimes you can compare yourself to other people. Don't. God made you unique.
Yep.
He made us, he made you with the exact qualifications that are needed to reach someone. Many someones.
Yeah.
Because Chanel and I Chanel's not going to be able to reach necessarily the same people that I'm going to reach. I'm not going to be able to reach the same people Chanel's going to reach. You know, and I'm not talking about proximity. I'm talking about who you are. Mm-hmm. You're not going to attract the same people. You know, I used to have a scarcity mentality, and you know, if someone would mention, oh, well, so and so's talking to so and so, and you know so and so, how come you so and so on your team? Because the other person, I now believe that the other person is more suited to get that person to where they need to go. I was not equipped to help that person get them to where they need to go. But don't get it twisted. If I can talk to them first, I'll talk to them first. But
yeah, that
you just have
comparison
to
thing.
train your mind. Train your mind to think, okay, there's a lesson here. What am I supposed to be learning? So with these groupies, I'm like, okay, well, what is it that I'm feeling some kind of way about? And one of my women's ministry leaders, her name's Kathy Eastman, said, I don't get jealous. And I was like, what? I don't get jealous. I just get better. I take what it is that they're good at, and you know, if I want to get better at it or get good at it, I get good at it. It's inspiration. In the call, we were like, what is it? It's not a failure, it's an opportunity. It's not a problem, it's an opportunity. And it's all about framing our minds, you know, to where we need to go. Mr. Kim Potter used to always say on Saturdays, he used to quote Romans 12:2. Anybody know what that one is? I'm gonna give you a minute. Don't Google it. Be transformed by the renewing, become a new person by letting God transform the way you think. Some translations say renewing your mind. You know, don't conform to the pattern of this world. Pattern of this world is scarcity, jealousy, negativity, comparison, and all those other things, right? So, but we got to have our minds renewed, you know, plugging into the system, plugging into positive training, plugging into our own self-development outside of ACN. I love, Ms. Burr, how you say a lamp ain't gonna be lit unless you plug it in, or it's not gonna stay lit. I plug it in, so plug in, whatever that means for you.
This call was awesome. Awesome, awesome. You have no idea the messages that I'm getting. You have no idea how people are feeling from this call. And Melissa she just waving and hearting, and she's doing celebration things. She's doing everything on here, right? Like I'm seeing everything that she's
Where's
doing.
your face, Melissa? Where's your face? Like you telling me when you were calling me out on PVC. She calling me out.
Right, like she's doing all these emojis. She probably got her hair in a ponytail now and got like some sweats on now. That's why she's not showing her video. She's not showing the real her.
That's all right, girl.
She's all right. Like, she doesn't have her Zoom stuff on, you know. You know, Melissa. Yeah.
I understand. I love you. I'm so grateful you're on this Zoom call at like 10 o'clock at night.
Right. Oh man. Well, this was awesome. Awesome. And wow, wow, wow. You know, everybody's saying, people were texting me that because everybody waits to hear me say that on the call. But this was awesome. Just awesome. I'm sure people are taking like self-inventory. You know, they're going to be looking at themselves tonight and really thinking about some stuff and things that they may need to change or whatever the case. This call is awesome every single week. Every single call has been completely different. Isn't that amazing? Like every single call has been different. Nobody has talked about the same thing. And everybody's stories are like, it's just so great. And I'm so blessed and honored to host this call every single week, unless I need Melissa Street to do it for me. But it's just awesome to hear from you phenomenal women every single weekend. Thank you so much for taking your time to be on here as a newly promoted regional vice president. And yeah, guys, this is it. This is our Women Winning Wednesday call. You have no idea what you're going to see, what you're going to hear. And this is why you just need to attend events, because you never know if it's going to change your business or completely change your life. So with that being said, make sure you are packing out your private Zoom meetings this week, attending your Saturday trainings, promoting Saturday training, and getting registered for the next Game On event the weekend of June 25th. Okay, everybody heard today that the early bird pricing has been extended to the end of the month. So make sure that you get your people registered. It's not just about you attending, it's about you getting as many people to attend and hear from the top people in all of ACN and some of the top people in all of the direct selling industry at this Game On event. So thank you so much, Poppy, for being on the call with us again tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for jumping on. We'll see you again next Wednesday on our Women Winning Wednesday night call. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay healthy. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Take care.